Alright, welcome back everyone. Today, we're diving into the intricate world of communication. You know, the art of saying just the right thing at just the right time. This is something we often take for granted. It sounds simple, right? But let's face it, we've all been there, feeling a bit awkward or even scrambling for the right phrase.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes I just blurt out the first thing that pops into my head. I guess it can be embarrassing, so. What's the secret sauce behind effective communication?
Great question. It's really all about context. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you're not on the right frequency, you can be talking about fascinating topics, but it just won't resonate. Like when you're asking someone, "How's your business?" you really need to know when and how to ask it. It could make or break a connection.
Oh wow, so it's not just about the words? That's insightful. Can you give me an example of a situation where really careful wording made a difference?
Absolutely. Picture this. You're chatting with a friend who just went through a tough breakup. If you go in with, "It's all my fault," instead of saying, "I can't imagine how hard this must be for you," you might actually push them away. The first phrase might sound dismissive when you really want to express care.
That makes total sense. It's like human emotions are kind of fragile, right? What about when people just want to know how much something costs? I'll say. It's such a common question, but still, the timing seems so critical.
Exactly. Imagine being at a gallery and you see a beautiful piece of art, but you approach the artist and say, "How much is it?" It feels transactional and kills the vibe. Instead, if you lead with, "This piece really speaks to me," you open the door for a more engaging conversation. It'll make the artist more likely to share the story behind the work.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's kind of like how I try to hype up friends' talents. Like one time, I just blurted out, "That's awful," about a song they wrote. Total flop for me.
Laughs. We've all been there. Your intention was probably to give constructive feedback, but the delivery might have thrown them off. It's so crucial to be mindful of phrasing. Instead, something like, "I see where you're coming from, but maybe try a different beat," opens a door for dialogue and growth.
Right. It's all about making space for discussion. That's so cool. But what about those heavier questions, like, is it serious? Like when you're asking someone about their health? How do you navigate those?
Those are definitely tricky waters. It's all about empathy and tone. If someone says, "I'm sick," and you follow up with, "Is it serious?" it can feel like you're minimizing their feelings. Instead, maybe lead with, "I'm really sorry to hear that. How are you holding up?" It opens up the conversation without sounding too abrupt.
That's really thoughtful. Like, it's an invitation. I feel like there are so many layers to communication. Are there specific phrases you think can help? Like, what's your go-to?
I always lean on, "Let me think about it." It shows that you value their perspective and need time to formulate your response. It's kind of like saying, "I acknowledge what you just said, and it's important." You invite that back and forth that's crucial in any meaningful exchange.
I acknowledge what you just said. Wow, that sounds intelligent. Haha, I can't wait to try that out. Do you think there's a universal way to ensure what you're saying is well received?
Well, universal might be a stretch because cultures play a huge part. But, generally, empathy is key. Being genuine about your intent can shine through all barriers. A small phrase like, "It sounds great. What's the story behind it?" invites them in and makes them feel valued.
Ooh, I love that. It's like building a bridge, not a wall. And now I'm curious, what's the craziest response you've ever gotten when saying something like that?
Chuckles. Oh man, one time I asked someone about a book they were passionate about. I said, "What's your favorite part?" The floodgates opened, and before I knew it, I was sitting in a 2-hour discussion about interdimensional travel. I had no clue we were diving into sci-fi territory.
Haha, that's wild. So basically, you could open up, All kinds of unexpected conversations just by saying the right thing? Crazy!
Exactly. It's about being genuine and curious. You never know where it might lead you.
So exciting. I want to explore more about this. And any last tips for listeners before we wrap up?
Sure. Remember, the essence of communication is connection. So be open, be curious, and always approach conversations with kindness. You'll be surprised where it takes you.
Wow, what a journey this was. Thanks for sharing all this. I feel way more equipped to go out there and chat.
Anytime! And remember to enjoy the ride.
Definitely. Can't wait to try all this out.